Good day, awesome YouTubers. It is Lollyman16 here to discuss another Dragon Ball Super topic, and the topic for today is the time ring. And since I did not cover this in my episodes 50 to 53 predictions, I would kind of give you guys my theories and the latest information of what we got in the time ring. And I know Geekdom 101, Big D already made a video on this, but I wanted to give my general thoughts about this topic and basically what I think could happen. So, in episode 50, we already know that we explained to the Z Fighters that the Ring of Time is a time ring that is used only by Kaioshin, or the gods of creation, and obviously not the Hakaishin, or the gods of destruction. We already know this. The interesting thing here is that they say that Black Goku is obviously not Son Goku. It's not Goku because, well, if he's a Kai Oshin, then he shouldn't look like that. So a lot of people have been speculating, well, it's Goku's body controlled by this some other Kai, and that's kind of what I believe. Now, we know there is a Kai in the opening, obviously, that is Zamasu, and I already made a video talking about what he could be, and I actually called it that he could control Goku's, like, almost like his dead body, reanimate him or control him somehow by some method. And of course, the ring must have something to do with it. I know it's a little bit like GT, like Baby Vegeta in Dragon Ball GT. I know it's kind of like that, but it is a pretty good possibility, and it's not a bad theory, really, either, to say that, he's controlling Goku's, basically like his corpse, his dead body with that ring. But anyway, moving on back to the Ring of Time. We know from episode 50 that the Ring of Time is supposed to be used by Kaioshin, okay? We also know that the Ring of Time, it not supposed to go into the future. It's only supposed to go. It's only supposed to return you to the present, when you've went back to the. Or excuse me, I was saying that wrong. I believe, now correct me if I'm mistaken, but I believe it's supposed to return you from going from the future to back to when you came, where you came from. So it's not supposed to take you to the past, but of course somehow it did, and we get later on get the explanation, from Herms from Twitter and the subtitled episode itself, for the fan subs. We do know that later on in the episode, we says, well, basically it's described, it's kind of difficult, but it's kind of described like this, okay? The Ring of Time is supposed to return you back to the present. Somehow he made it into the past, and that is caused by the time distortions. And what that is basically the time machine that Trunks used. It distorted time, which essentially brought Black to the present. Or well, it would be the past, because he was in the future, then he went to the present, so it'd be the past. But then, just like a wound, the time distortion heals itself, and Black is being sucked back into his future. And we can clearly see that. Excuse me, wrong picture. We can clearly see that here in this photo. In the episode itself, it was glowing, and it forced him back into the future. And we also learn later on in the episode he cannot return to the past, so that means Trunks is going to go to his timeline, back to his timeline, which is the future, because, well, we know this, because later on in the episode he says, like, I can't go back, and so future Trunks is going to return with Cell's time machine. We already know that from episode 50. So, another theory that people have been saying, well, what does this have to do with anything? Well, the time breaker, the ring itself has a time breaker logo, which is seen by other characters, like that character from the Dragon Ball Heroes video game, Demigra, that's his name. Yeah, it's a little bit similar in the pattern of the ring itself. I don't believe it's actually I don't believe it's the actual shape, and I actually don't believe that they're going to integrate the video game characters with the characters in the series. I still don't think that's going to happen, but it might be an interesting twist if that does. So what I actually believe what's going to happen with the Time Ring is it is taken and is controlled by Zamasu. I actually think that it has to be. There's no other way it can't be done with Zamasu. So I believe that Zamasu is controlling Goku's body with the earring. I believe the Time Ring is controlled by Zamasu, and he is going to find a way to go back to the past. I think so. It's kind of interesting to note that what the ring can do in terms of altering stuff and going back to other timelines and stuff. I found it very interesting that and it's kind of maybe messed up too, is that how Trunks basically he can alter one past and you can alter some parts of the timeline and not others. Well, obviously because it is a kind of like a multiverse theory. If you ever looked at that in TFS's parody, they make several references to that. It is a kind of like a multiverse theory, and go check out Quaman's alternate timeline theory. It's a long video, but it explains pretty much what happens when you alter one part of the timeline and how it affects the rest and whatnot. It's quite an interesting theory. So overall, I think the Time Ring, I think what it's going to do is it's going to make a major rift in the time and space continuum itself. And obviously from Toriyama's interview, we know that it's going to get the Omni King, Zeno-sama, it's going to get the Omni King involved, so that's going to be interesting to see. But hopefully you kind of got a little bit of insight on what the Time Ring does. How you cannot go to the past. It's only supposed to return you to the present of where you were, and only go to the future. And one more thing I gotta mention is the gods, the other gods, not the Kaioshin, but other gods and other divine beings are not supposed to use the Time Ring, nor are they allowed to travel in time because of the whole butterfly effect explained in episode, I believe it's 49. It was explained. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that video on, it's kind of a discussion on what the Time Ring is, what the Time Ring does, and a little bit of what I think is going to happen. I can't really speculate much on it, because we know Trunks is going back to the future, almost like the Back to the Future movie, but we do know he is going to go back to the future with the time machine that Cell used in the Cell arc, when he came from that other timeline, killed Trunks, and went, to the main timeline. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Leave your comments down below. What do you think is going to happen to the Time Ring? And I hope you guys got a little insight. So I'll see you guys next week for episode 51 review. Stay awesome and have a good